Hey guys, this time we're going to go over Titan Extractors. Now, these guys, not really so much anything you do with them. You can buy the blueprints for your basic kind of Titan Extractor from the market. I believe it would be under keys and drones. You see right here, Titan Extractor blueprint, cost 50,000. It is, last I recall, a reusable blueprint, although it's been a long time since I've crafted one, so don't hate me if I'm wrong on that. You'll find out after using it once. And you'll see right down here, I have a Titan Extractor blueprint. It doesn't take a whole lot as far as money or resources to build. I mean, it takes polymer bundles and ferrite, and it's less than 500 of each. It's 10,000 credits, 6 hours build time. But what does a Titan Extractor do? You also might see some people having things like the Distilling Extractor, some of the purchasable Prime bundles come with those. But what does a Titan Extractor do? Back on point here. Titan Extractor is a little guide that you can assign to a planet and will just collect you resources from that planet. You will notice this little tractor looking symbol. At least it looks like a tractor to me. That's what I think of every time I look at it. You can see in the case of this one, it's got a little bit of check mark in there. Or maybe you can't see it because of the resolutions, because you're watching this on YouTube. But there's a little bit of a check mark in there. So if I go to Mars, I will see that my Titan Extractor has completed its business of gathering resources, and it has gotten me 755 salvage. It is now ready to claim. This big old claim now button. What this thing will pull is from the list of stuff that the planet carries. So I mean, if I send it to Mars, it's not going to come back with an Aroken cell. There's just none of those on there. And it does still follow the general rules of rarity. Although sometimes a Titan of a specific type, certain extractors will pull different things. So I mean, most of the time you'll end up seeing a lot of Morphics and salvage, but every now and then you'll get something like 5 or 6 gallium or something like that, which is usually pretty nice when it happens. But to get those resources, you just click claim now. And that's it. That's pretty much it. If you have one crafted and you want to deploy one, you go to deploy extractor. It lists all of your available extractors. You use one and it goes. Now, no doubt what you're wondering, you'll notice that the little tractor wheel in the back is gone, indicating that it's still working. What you're probably wondering here is, why do I have so many of these things? Why don't I deploy all of them at once? The thing about Titan Extractors is you can only deploy so many based upon your mastery rank. So at rank 10 plus, you can only deploy, I believe, no, it's got to be about 4, because that's how many I have, unless it was because of a Prime bundle that I have an extra one. But for the sake of argument, I can deploy 4. So what happens is sometimes when you have these things deployed here and they are done with their 4-hour process of extracting resources, you'll find that it's been damaged. So instead of having 100% when you go to the deploying screen, it'll say it's only got like 50% of its health left. So if you want to maximize your efficiency, what you do is if you can only use, say, 2 extractors at a time, you build 4. And that way, when 1 or 2 get damaged, you have 1 or 2 as backups that you can send out while the other ones get repaired. And to repair the extractor, you just don't send it out. That's all there is to it. It'll just come back over time. It's really not a super elaborate process. You build an extractor, you pick a planet that you have beaten. That's like the most elaborate part of this, is in order to deploy an extractor on a planet, you have to have completed every mission node in the planet. That's pretty much the most complex thing. So if you have it fully finished, you can send your extractor there, come back 4 hours, and he'll be like, hey, look what I found for you, boss. You throw him back in the docking bay. If he's hurt, you leave him there, and you send out a different extractor. And all they do is they just keep bringing back resources. So as you're not playing the game, you can still earn a bunch of resources. And although most of the time it is the lower end stuff that you already end up with a ton of, like ferrite and salvage and things like that, it never really hurts to have an absurd amount of resources. I mean, yeah, I have 321,000 ferrite, but nothing says that somewhere down the road they're not going to make something that takes, say, 4,500 or something like that, or 34,000, or some kind of a weird number that seems really high, but at the same time you start using Titan Extractors and they keep pulling back, like, you know, 500-600 every single time on top of what you're earning from playing the game in the first place. It's not a bad deal. It might not be necessary, and it might actually be more useful for people of lower levels who haven't really gotten out there that much, because they're the ones that actually have the lower amount of resources, so it's more useful for them to keep getting it every way they can. But it's still kind of useful for the longer time players, because you still have a use for resources, even if it's just sinking it into silly projects like clan dojo decorations. There's always some kind of use for a resource. That's all there is to Titan Extractors. They weren't really a complex subject, but it's not really explained anywhere, so I kind of thought it should be gone over. If you have any more questions about it, I can try to answer it, although there isn't really a whole lot more to the Titan Extractors to cause a question. But that being said, if you do have a question, just leave a comment or message me on YouTube and I'll try to get to it. I'll address it, try to help you out best I can. Until next time, keep extracting.